Good morning, and we're in chapter 14 of Genesis, and there's quite a lot in this. We've got 40 verses to cover, but we're going to go through the first bit quickly, and you'll probably find that actually there's not 40 verses in Genesis, but there is 40 verses we'll cover. And it came to pass that I'm just going to go through these names because I don't know all of them, but it's battles of the kings. So there's going to be lots of kings. Amphro, the king of Shinar. Shinar was one of the places they passed through when they were going down to Egypt. So these are places that they knew. And if you notice, it says they pitched their tent. They're not just pitching their tent anywhere. There's places, there's people, there's communities. And that was important. And now they're up there. There's all these other people there as well. Arioch, the king of Eleazar. If I get these wrong, don't shoot me. Just go with it. Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations. These made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and Bersha, king of Gomorrah. Names we've already been introduced to. And Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemer, king of Shibeam, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. So all of these people, there's kings on one side, kings on the other side. Are any of them righteous? Because we've already heard Sodom and Gomorrah was a wicked place. But is enemy of my enemy my friend, or is it something else? Let's see. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote Rephaims in Asheroth, Kernim, and the Zumims in Ham, and the Emims in Sheva Kerathim. If I don't get it right, it's English language I'm doing. And the Horites in their mount Zir unto Elephran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to the Inishvat, which is Kedesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelt in Hezon Tamar. Now I could just not read that for this podcast, but I just feel like you see that it's not easy even. You can read them as much as you want. You can look at it. There's a lot of things in here. And if you notice, I haven't underlined very much because I didn't see the point of it. Then went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same is Zoar, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim, with Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and the king of Tidal, king of nations, and Amphel, the king of Shinar, and the Adric, the king of Elazar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits. That's the tar and things that they had. Remember, the ark was covered with slime to keep it waterproof. And the kings of Sodom and the king and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they remained fled to the mountains. And they took the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the victuals and went their way. So this is the kings that took the goods. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one who escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre. I don't know if this is the first time we hear the word Hebrew, but of course if we click on that, I believe it mentions unto Shem, and also the father of all children of Eber, the son of Japheth, the elder, even him were children born. So Eber turns into Hebrew. For he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, and the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and the brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abraham. So Abram had friends and family around him, and wasn't just out there raising his herds. And when Abram heard his brother was taken captive, I think that's one thing I get from a lot of this, is that there was communities and there's people living together. There's wars that were going on. And he armed and trained his servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. So he pursued those that took took Lot, basically, and he divided himself against them, and he and his servants by night smote them and pursued them unto Hobrah, which is on the left hand of Damascus, and that left is basically north, is what they're saying. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and the goods and women also, and the people. Remember what I said, the enemy of my enemies is my friend. Well, look how this goes down. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and the kings that were with him at the valley of Shiva, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine. So there's a little note here. I'm going to press on it, and we'll get back to the story of what Sodom offers Abram. But who was Melchizedek? Most of what we know about Melchizedek is found in Restoration Scripture. He was a great prophet, a high priest, and a king. He ordained Abraham to the priesthood. Like Enoch and the people of Zion, Melchizedek and his people wrought righteousness and obtained heaven. Before Melchizedek's day, the priesthood was called the priesthood after the holy priest, called the holy priesthood after the order of the Son of God, but out of respect and reverence to the name of the Supreme Being, to avoid too frequent repetition of his name, the church in the ancient days, called the priesthood after Melchizedek, or the Melchizedek priesthood. Ties in really well with what we understand with the church. And he brought forth bread and wine, and again we've got Joseph Smith translation. He brake bread and blessed it, and he blessed the wine, and he being a priest of the Most High God, obviously a reference to his priesthood duties and what he was doing there, not just, let's just have another meal together. he was the priest of the Most High, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him, Abraham, and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thine hands. And he gave him tithes of all. And right there, it's like, who gave who tithes? We know from Scripture it was Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek. Now here we get back to the story of Sodom, King Sodom. And King Sodom said unto Abraham, Give me the persons and take the goods. So you've went and conquered. You've brought all this back. If you just give me the people, you can take the goods that you got, the whatever they took, the riches, our riches, kind of as payment, I guess, for what he'd done. And Abram said unto the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, possessor of kingdom and earth. He's letting him know who really did it. The Lord did it. I lifted up mine hand. The Lord is the one that gave me the power in my hand to do these things. I will not take a thread, even to a shoe latchet, that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. He's saying, you know what? You're not going to use me an excuse that that I've done anything through you. The person I trust is the Lord, not trust man. So remember, he isn't a friend. It's not enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's I had a purpose that served you. Here you go. You can have whatever was yours. I don't need it, because I got God on my side. Save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshel, and Mamre. Let them take their portion. So they could take their portion, but I'm not. He's making it clear that he will have nothing to do with Sodom. Now, I said that we have 40 verses, and we've gone 24. We're going to click on that portion part in a second, but on the right-hand side, I just have this thing that we already talked about, I think. Here are some examples of the Old Testament accounts restored through Joseph Smith. Enoch City, Zion, Abraham's vision of the council of heaven, the ministry of Melchizedek. Why are these accounts plain and precious to you? That was, I think, within our reading earlier in the year, and I just bring it up to remember you that these are plain and precious. Let's see what's plain and precious behind that word portion that we haven't got. Well, pretty much another 15 verses. And Melchizedek lifted up his voice and blessed Abram. So we kind of had that up here, blessed him, but this is now continuing on. Now, Melchizedek was a man of faith who wrought righteousness, and when a child, he feared God and stopped the mouths of lions and quenched the violence of fire. So somehow he had done these things that are amazing. They're not even written down here, or they're not in there anymore. Somebody took them out. And thus, having been approved of God, he was ordained an high priest after the order of the covenant of God, which God made with Enoch, it being after the order of the Son of God, which order came not by man, nor the will of man, neither by father nor by mother, by beginning of days nor end of years, but of God. Putting in perspective of where this priesthood came from. Some people, I think, somewhere, Melchizedek, it says, and is the beginning of days and end of years. It's misquoted. They're saying the priesthood is without beginning of days or end of years, and it's not created by man. It didn't come by man, it didn't come by woman, it came by God. And it was delivered unto the men by the calling of his own voice, according to his own will, unto as many as believed on his name. For God having sworn unto Enoch, so it's not just isolated. Now we're having it tied back again to Enoch, and unto his seed with an oath by himself, that every one being ordained after this order and calling should have power by faith to break mountains, to divide seas, to dry up waters, and to turn them out of their course. That's quite a lot of power. To put at defiance the armies of nations, to divide the earth, to break every band, to stand in the presence of God, to do all things according to the will, according to his will, according to his command, subdue principalities and powers, and this by the will of the Son of God, which was from before the foundation of the world. And men having this faith, coming up unto this order of God, were translated and taken into heaven. And now Melchizedek was a priest of this order. Therefore he obtained peace in Salem, and was called the Prince of Peace. And his people wrought righteousness and obtained heaven, and sought for the city of Enoch, which God had before taken, separating it from the earth, having reserved it unto the latter days, or the end of the world. And hath said and sworn with an oath that the heavens and the earth should come together, and the sons of God should be tried as by fire. And this Melchizedek, having thus established righteousness, was called the King of Heaven by his people, or, in other words, the King of Peace. And he lifted up his voice and blessed Abram, being the high priest and the keeper of the storehouse of God. Him whom God hath appointed received tithes for the poor. Therefore Abram paid unto him tithes of all that he had, of all the riches which he possessed, which God had given him, more than that which he had need. And it came to pass that God blessed Abram, and gave unto him riches and honor and lands for an everlasting possession, according to the covenant which he had made, and according to the blessing wherewith Melchizedek had blessed him. Right there, this chapter becomes so amazing. All that war stuff, that's fine. Whatever you want to do with it, you can. But coming down here and seeing this and talking about the priesthood in that way and how it had gone down through the generations to Melchizedek was important to me, and is the most important thing in this chapter. And yet it's been missing until Joseph Smith. And I think that is a very significant thing in the in Genesis, and we have it here. I wish I could spend more time on it. What I would suggest is that you go in here, you find that last word, and you click on this and study it a little bit closer. You can click into it a little bit more if you want, and underline it and all that. But it really lets you know what does the priesthood actually mean, and how far, how much power does it have? Well, power to move mountains for one thing. Amazing stuff here, and I hope you got some of that out of this, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you tomorrow.